My name is Ruth Brown. I'm a science educator at the Da Vinci Science Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Today at the Da Vinci Center we were doing a session on, we're calling it Senior Science Monday, where we're inviting senior citizens to come into the center. And each week, or each month, we do it once a month, we teach them a different science, or at least expose them to a different science. And today was Nanotechnology Day, and that's one of the new cutting-edge sciences that people have heard about but may not know much about it. So we were just trying to give them a general introduction to what nanotechnology is, and then hoping just to spark an interest so that maybe they would go home and do some more research on their own. A nanometer is about the size of an atom, so you cannot see it. It's so small you can't see. The question is, why is making something smaller important? When you make things really small, you change the properties. If you had a big block of silver, it's not going to fight bacteria. But when you get that block of silver smaller and smaller and smaller, its properties change. If you take a block of gold, it looks gold. When you start making it smaller, it actually has a different color. Gold will turn red when it gets smaller. Then it turns blue. Eventually, it becomes clear. At the nano-scale, you can't see gold anymore. It's transparent. When you get things really, really small, their properties change significantly. So now all of a sudden there's all these new uses for really common materials. And the question is, why do the properties change? That's usually the big question. It has a lot to do with surface area. We're going to do an activity on surface area. But what that means is the amount of atoms that are on the surface or the outside of something. The more atoms you have on the outside, the more reactive something is, because that's where all the chemical reactions take place, is on the outside of something, not on the inside. So if you have a lot of atoms on the outside, you're going to have a lot more reaction, and it'll react to the things around it, which is what causes aluminum to react with the air when it gets really, really small. We're going to do an experiment. What I'd like you to do is, inside these trays, there's little tiny cups. If each of you could take out 2 cups, please. And what I'd like you to do is take a pack of Alka-Seltzer tablets in there. Open that up, please, and put 1 tablet in your cup. Grind up that tablet. It grinds up fairly easily, and then put that into the other cup, please. So everybody has in your cup identical contents. One is a whole thing with very little surface area. One is a content has the exact same amount of material in it, except now you have a significantly more volume of surface area. So what we're going to do is compare how different they are and how much they react, how reactivity varies. So what you're going to do, I'm going to borrow this one for just a second. You can each do this. You're going to need 2 pipettes, and I'd like you to add, and this is just colored water. I'd like you to add the water to each cup at the same time and compare reactions. And tell me which one reacts more. So go ahead and do that. Did anybody see anything different? The one that ground up fizzed up more? Is that what everybody saw? And remember, you added the same amount of solids and the same amount of liquid. The only thing that's different is the surface area. The one that's ground up has a significant amount more surface area, so it reacts that much more. And what you ground up is not at the nanometer scale. It's micro. You can see it. So it's definitely not that small. If you ground that up so it was that small, it would react even more. So probably think about that like overflowing the cup. That's how much it would react by making it even smaller. So that's how just changing one thing, making things really, really small, can change its properties. Nanotechnology is a science that really does affect everybody's life, but people just aren't aware of it yet. It's in a lot of products that we use, but you're just not sure that you're using it. It's in silver bandages if you buy them at the store to help fight bacteria. Somebody told me it's in their washing machine that has a silver lining, and there are washing machines that do have that. And they wash without soap, they fight bacteria. So it's in a lot of places. If you can find it in tennis balls, you can find it in the paper that your pictures are printed on. All of that uses nanotechnology. I think that science is very important for people. It's part of our everyday lives. It exists everywhere, and people take it for granted. They're just not aware that everything they do involves science. So we just like to make sure people know about that and just help them to answer questions or find out ways of getting answers themselves.